kind of, what was I gonna say? There was a lot of people supposedly supposed to drop albums 2015 who didn't, and
like Kanye.
Kanye, Kevin Gates, whose album did come out not too long ago. It's I listened to it, but it didn't come out in 2015. Drake was supposed to drop an album. Frank Ocean. Everybody was looking forward to the Frank Ocean album.
It's like almost. That's like 4 years now.
Yeah, it has been like 4 years.
Almost 4 years.
This man probably has like so many songs just like waiting to put pieces together. Yeah, it's been, I don't know. 2015 was kind of the year of disappointment to me when it came to music. I'm not gonna lie.
Still some good ones.
Hold on, let me switch over and let Amel get on his mic.
Now Amel's on his mic. Turn these down just a smidgy widge. Yes, 2015. Not just for hip hop music, but for music in general. It was one of the greatest years for music in a long time. In a very long time. And Jackson and I had this conversation like a month or two ago that it's because the mainstream, the pop-ish music is starting to get better and more popular. The more indie stuff is starting to get more popular too.
That is true. That is true. People are starting to catch up on the underground vibe, even in hip hop. Not as much as in hip hop as in like other genres, but they're definitely catching up on the underground vibe. This year was also a good year of mixtapes, but we'll probably talk about next week when Emil talks about movies.
Oh yeah.
But
last week, how unprofessional can you get?
Dude, I know, man.
Yeah, we're never having him on the show again.
I think we need to go ahead and promote Hat Trick first before we go into anything. Hat Trick Music Festival. That's February 6th with Moon Hooch, Black Milk, and Dent May. And that'll be at King's at 8 p.m. And it's free for Kendrick students, so you guys should definitely check it out.
I'll tell him, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or you can't do it.
I think we both can tell him since we'll both be interviewing him.
Well, your boy Amel over here has a little inside scoop on the radio station. So do some promotional videos for them, including for Hat Trick. Part of that deal is that David and I are going to get to interview Black Milk.
Yeah, and actually I've like been checking out his discography and stuff like that, and looking at his interviews for the last week, and he actually he's an interesting character in the rap game.
Yeah,
his production definitely is
I've really enjoyed his production for sure, and I haven't heard too much of his rapping, but I'm really excited. So I guess we'll have basically a That's Legit on Saturday, where we're gonna interview Black Milk and hang out with him. So,
dude, that's gonna be cool.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited.
Oh man, I can't wait to talk music with him. We're gonna have to definitely come up with some really good questions.
Oh, for
I would definitely check out his project. If you like music that has samples in it, like if sample heavy music, you're definitely gonna like Black Milk because he kind of has. How much of him have you like listened to?
I sampled a few songs, especially the one that was in the video. I think it's like Sunday something or another.
Okay.
It is very, very soul-ish.
Yeah,
very sample heavy.
It has a very soul sample kind of heavy feel to him. But you know what? The most interesting part about him, I think, is like his flow and how it kind of differentiates from like the instrumental itself. Because he kind of has like a Vince Staples cadence to him, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, I would say that.
Like he kind of, I would just listen to him, check him out, check out his project. If Hell Is Below, I believe that is the title. Don't quote me on that. He didn't drop anything in 2015. Because I did watch one of his interviews where he says he was focusing a lot on his production this year. But I think, Amel, are we not supposed to play your number one song today?
Yes, last week we were playing our favorite songs, and unfortunately we ran out of time, didn't get to play my number one. So, little introduction, the song is called Sticky Drama by 10 Tricks Point Never. It was my favorite single/song of the year. Gets me really hyped. So, this will hopefully get us ready for the show today. So, you ready for this, man?
I'm ready.
All right. Oh, it's my phone.
It's slow on the thing too.
Okay. Yeah.
Pause it.
Pause it.
put us back on the air real quick. Technical difficulties. Hold on 1 second. We'll have it fixed in a minute. Are you good? Yo, it's not playing loudly on there. There we go.
There we go. Yeah, I just didn't have it turned up all the way. We're not used to playing it on the 7 questions. We need 7 questions.
Seven questions?
7 questions.
How many questions we get?
For what?
Black milk. We get 7 questions.
Yeah, we're getting the interview.
Question number 1. Why are you called Black Milk?
There you go.
I think he answered that before though.
Oh, did
I
he?
saw an interview on it.
There you go.
It's probably like they ask me that in every interview. God.
Right. Yeah, we don't want to be annoying him.
Yeah. Ask him what's his goals for 2016. That's a good question.
Which one?
What's his goals for 2016?
Okay.
Cause like I said, he worked with Jack White and the White Stripes, right?
Did you really?
Like he did some production with.
But he's like a hip hop artist, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he's more of a producer, so he did some.
Yeah. If you're working with Jack White, you have some entitlement.
Yes.
And probably some interesting stories to tell because you like got to work with Jack White.
But like apparently everyone asked him about that. Ask him about that too.
Mm-hmm.
So we could probably ask him, but like keep it short.
Right. I want to ask him what it was like to work with Danny Brown, because that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because he had an EP with Danny Brown.
Really?
That's like the only way I knew about him.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, that rings a bell now.
Black and Brown is what it's called. Because of Black Milk and Danny Brown.
That's good.
That was the only way I knew him.
How'd you guys get him to come?
Oh, well, he came for this thing, for Hat Trick. It's a free festival for Hendrick students. They try to get, like, lesser-known artists. Like, Dick May toured with Animal Collective.
Okay.
And Moon Hooch is kind of big on the internet. And then Black Milk, of course, is a up-and-coming Detroit rapper / producer.
He's been around for a while, though. A while. Like,
oh, yeah.
Long
He's
time.
in his, like, 30s, isn't he?
He's been a while for, I think, maybe since, like, 2008. Maybe even longer than that. Because he just... Like I said, he's a producer first and then a rapper. He's put out, like, maybe 6 albums.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he has a large discography.
I feel like his deal is that he hasn't gotten much outside of Detroit because he's worked with Danny Brown and Royce the 5'9", and that's like...
I don't even think it's that. I think it's just like... You guys know who Slum Village is? When Jay Dilla left Slum Village, he was one of the producers who stepped in for him.
Wow.
So
those are big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Oh.
Those are. But like he's been around for a while. I just think I just think he doesn't really care to go mainstream. Like if I was watching the interview, he was saying if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
But like I'm not gonna force it.
Yeah, that's how a lot of Detroit guys are. Like even Danny Brown's like that in a way.
Yeah, it's true.
But
like
he like grew up in Detroit, right? Like
yeah.
I'd wanna, if I was asking him, I'd be asking him about that.
Yeah, I definitely.
Like you can because he's old, like he's been there, like economic crash, like all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently he's a fan of Jazz Loaf and the fact that she's like blown up too, which is understandable. You want to see somebody from your city blow up.
Oh yeah, she's from Detroit. I forget that.
Because no one from Detroit has really like blown up.
That's true.
So.
It's awesome. I'm
excited.
Yeah, dude. I guess we can kind of like half and half it. You can have the extra question if you want. We'll have a few extra ones just in case.
Yeah.
He's supposed to do. He's supposed to do a little performance too. I'm supposed to film it at least. If you want to hang out for that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I kind of want to.
It's like electro metal here or something.
Yeah. Have you ever listened to 103.9?
A little bit, but I thought it was kind of ambient. So.
Yeah, it's kind of like he kind of amped it up a little bit for this album.
Got to change it up.
He's always kind of ambient-esque, but now he's it is kind of like a metal, like an old electro metal.
It's way out there.
Dude, this guy production crazy.
And that was Sticky Drama by One O Tricks Point Never, my favorite song of 2015. Every time I hear it, I just get amped up and it's like a song that like the first time I heard it, it's like I didn't comprehend how good it was. I had to like think about it before I could even like pretend to put it on a list or anything. And of course, it's my favorite song of the year. So yeah. Well, how was that?
It's great.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely something I've never listened to before.
Yeah, it's.
I'll probably check it out again at least a couple times, before I get a real opinion about it. But
for sure. It's a good song that if you liked that one, it's a good way to ease yourself into him. But we're not talking about songs anymore, though.
It's time to get to albums of 2015.
Oh, yeah.
Top albums. You have how many do you have on the list?
10.
10?
I have 10 as well
10?
on my list.
I actually came not prepared. I didn't even have my list.
That's fine, man, because
You're just
I
talking
mean,
about
it's
how
very free.
You talk about how unprofessional I was.
Yeah, I know.
No, you don't even know.
Man, this is the last time we're gonna have Jackson.
I have 10, but I do have a couple honorable mentions on here.
Me too. Do you want to? So since I have 25, do you want to kind of keep it even, or should I go all the way up to 10 and then we can?
Just rush to your 10, and then just rush about rush to your 10.
Okay.
And then if we have times, I'll go through my honorable mentions at the end.
Okay, sounds good. I guess I'll go ahead and say my honorable mentions since they're kind of quick. But yeah, I'll try to be quick. So, top 25 albums, 2015. Honorable mentions. These are not bad albums, but they're they're also not great albums. So, if there's an album on here, it's like I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it enough to say it's one of the best of the year for me personally. In no real order, New Glow, Matt and Kim. It was okay. I had fun with it. A lot of great singles and a lot of not great other songs, but overall it was a pretty enjoyable experience.
Okay.
But I haven't gone back to listen to it once this year, so maybe that's why I didn't make it. Purity Ring, Another Eternity. I have heard, one of my good friends said that this album feels like they had incredible production and great lyrics, but they never knew how to match them up or sync them up right, and that kind of reflects in this album a lot. Makes sense to me because that's probably why it didn't make the cut either for me. American Candy, The Main. It was fun pop album, good pop album. And then sometimes I sit and dream, and sometimes I just sit. Courtney Barnett. Unpopular opinion on her. I liked this album. I liked it. I have to respect the songwriting and her personality, kind of. But her personality is too bland, so it doesn't really add much to the album, and the songwriting is very basic. It's stuff that we've heard from Radiohead 20 years ago, so why do we care anymore for new stuff? However, overall it's a very solid album. Just didn't make the list. But here are my top 25 albums. I'll try to go pretty quick. 25, Surf, Donnie Trumpet, Social Experiment. Really enjoyed this album, but of my favorites, I had to keep it near the end.
It's kind of an album that's it went in a lot of different directions, so it's kind of really hard to place it really up there in your top 10. For sure.
It's kind of I would argue that it's a little bit of a letdown, but upon re-listening to it, every time I re-listen to it, I actually enjoy it more. So I do enjoy it and I do like it. It's not a Chance the Rapper album. It's a Donnie Trumpet and the Social Experiment album.
Yeah,
so
Chance the Rapper rapping on it.
Yeah, exactly. He's just part of the band. So if you go into it thinking like that, you'll probably enjoy it. 24, Before the Money, Joey Badass.
I can understand that.
Yeah, I listen.
That actually would be in my honorable mentions, past top 24, because it was good. But I mean, compared to his other projects, to me, it just wasn't the same. 1999 was definitely a classic.
I would say
I love that sound, and him drifting from that a little bit. I respect that as an artist, but I didn't need a project.
I felt like I listened to it in 1999, and I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed Before the Money less. Because it feels like he wasn't doing anything new, and he's just getting older. Yeah, so I would like to hear something new from him. However, it's still a good album, I still enjoy it enough that I listened to it a few times. I was like, yeah, that's pretty all right. 23, Tell Me I'm Pretty, Cage the Elephant. I really like Cage the Elephant's last album, Melophobia. It was an incredible album. It was in my top 3 of the year it came out. However, this one kind of it was produced by Dan Auerbach from the Black Keys, and unfortunately it sounded a little bit too much like the Black Keys, or else it would have been higher on this list. But it had some really good singles, some really good songs that stood out, including one that made my top 10 songs of the year. But overall, a good album. 22, Drones, Muse. I enjoyed this album. I really enjoyed the singles leading up to the album. But, of course, it's like they're trying to go back and restore their former glory of being a harder rock band. But overall, I enjoyed the album. I thought it did a lot of cool things. 21, Every Open Eye, Churches, synth pop. It's fun. There's nothing much to say about it.
Who doesn't love synth pop,
Yeah, exactly. Better than their album beforehand, but not better than the next synth pop album I'm about to mention. 20, Dopamine by Bjorns. I thought this is a very solid poppy, synthy poppy album. It was a lot of fun, and I don't know. I was pretty happy with it overall. I was surprised in a good way because I didn't really have any expectations. 19, Passion Pit. Kindred. Really enjoyed this album. I didn't enjoy it as much as their previous one, but this album was very emotionally driven. There are parts of it that felt a little bit lacking, but overall I thought it was a very solid album. 19, the biggest surprise of the year for me, this album called Drunk Talk by Billy Momo. They're a very, very underground Swedish country folk like rock band.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
shout out to Sweden.
Yeah, shout out to Sweden. They're not even popular enough to break through Sweden yet. I heard of them because one of their songs is on a TV show I watch, and I was like, oh, this is a cool song, and I looked them up and I'm like, oh, this is a great album.
What TV show?
It was Better Call Saul.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know the song that plays like whenever they're like recapping the show and stuff.
I can't remember.
Okay, well, this season
usually is good.
Yeah,
you know, the Breaking Bad soundtracks were like on point. So
for sure,
I can see that being good too.
I had the song stuck in my head, and I looked it up, and it's this random band called Billy Momo, and yeah, hopefully they get more popular because I thought this album was very solid. However, it did have a few parts that could have been better, but overall, it was a very good album. 17, I felt the same way about this one. Blackheart, Don Richard. First half of this album was fantastic. It had me going from song to song. It had a great first track, a great track called Titans, a few good interludes, and a song that it's called Calypso. It's basically like a reimagining of like the Twin Peaks soundtrack, which is kind of weird. But overall, it was a very good album. I just thought that it could have been better, and that's why it's not higher on the list. Number 16, Good AM, Mac Miller.
Okay.
Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the concept. However, it's Mac Miller. It lacked a little bit, but
lyrically,
that's the way to explain it. However, it's Mac Miller.
Right.
You could not sum it up
good
any
album.
better.
It had good songs, but it's not that memorable.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably not. I mean, it's weird because it's better. Every time I think about it, it's better than I remember it being because I feel like, oh, it's just that album I'm gonna blow off. But it's like, no, that's a very solid album. I still stand with what I said when we gave our review. It was our first review on the show.
Snap! Yeah, it was.
But I love that album. I think it's really good. I just think that it could have been better, But there's nothing else to say. It's really good. I'll stop saying it could have been better because obviously
it's good enough.
Yeah. Fantastic singles. Just a few songs near the end that could have had more. 15, Rodeo, Travis Scott.
That's a good place for that.
Yeah, really enjoyed this album.
You haven't even heard Days Before the Rodeo. If you heard that, you probably would place it way further down.
Still haven't heard it, man.
Days Before the Rodeo? Or Rodeo?
No, I was bummed that I was bummed that Amel still hasn't heard it.
Yeah,
we talked about it a few months ago.
Days Before the Rodeo was crazy.
Oh yeah.
Rodeo was okay.
It was pretty good. It had some good samples, had some good auto-tune. Sounds a lot like Kanye. However, you guys have said that if I like that,
Kanye
that's what
Future put together.
Yeah, exactly. You guys say that that's what his mixtape was like, so I should just listen to
his mixtape was so much better.
Oh, okay.
His mixtape was raw. That's the best way to explain it.
His mixtape was actually a classic. I if you have to put it in a classic, well, not in a classic sense as a classic, but it's something you can just listen to every day.
It's going to be known as one of his best albums, no matter how, where his career goes.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of his best, no matter what, because that was his initial peak.
Right. Yeah, and I'm down to listen to it. I mean, of course, I enjoyed 1999 from what you said.
Yeah.
And I like Before the Money, but I really enjoyed Rodeo. I kept going back to it a lot. Had a lot of good songs, a lot of good singles. Overall, I thought it was a very solid album. Really good. But
it was solid. Still just a little disappointing.
Yeah, it's single heavy. A few flat moments that are just the thing is the low moments are just really blatant, which is I mean which just made it not where I could really get into it, but some of the singles were on Oh My This Side and all those songs
I'd have
them on repeat all the time.
Oh, for sure.
I just think the biggest thing for it was just a letdown.
Yeah.
From before the rodeo.
Do you know what I think wasn't a letdown though? My number 14. album. If you're reading this, it's too late. Drake.
Okay.
I agree, man. I may say this is the best Drake thing he's ever done.
Really?
I mean, Take Care was the thing that I liked the most.
I think last time I did say that. I said, like, it's pretty relative to Take Care, but, like, he unexpectedly just, like, was really solid on this album.
It was very good. Not, like... It was upon re-listening to it that I really enjoyed it more and more. Mm-hmm. Great songs. It was hard to pick. Remember, like, Drake was one of the few artists that I had to condense down to 2 songs from my other list.
Yeah. Drake, the thing about that album is, after listening to it multiple times, it kind of just becomes a background noise, at least for me. Like, there are some songs where
I could understand that.
It puts you it really puts you in your comfort zone.
Yeah, it's very.
But the thing is, like, it's so comfortable to, like, the point where it's like, you know, once you listen to it, like, maybe like the 20th time, you're like, okay, like, I've been here. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I understand that, but, like,
it's still a good album.
Yeah,
it's still
exactly.
Very solid.
It goes for the same for, like, any Drake album. Like, Take Care, like, it'll just make you think of, like, that moment, you know? It doesn't really, like, prolong to something that you can, like, get back to.
Yeah. That's why...
It's very consistent. Mm-hmm. Like Drake is as an artist. It's very consistent.
Oh, for sure. That's why I didn't put it any higher, because I really enjoyed it, but it's still in the kind of category of, like, I don't know if I'm going to go back to it, like, years from now and be like, oh, I still want to hear it, even though I still go back to Take Care, and I still enjoy Take Care.
Exactly.
So maybe that's how I feel about this one. It kind of rides the line. Next album, though, I still go back to. I still enjoy, even though there are a few songs that could have been a little bit better, and that's why this album could have been a little bit higher on this list. The Powers That Be, Death Grips. Love Death Grips. Industrial rap. You know Death Grips.
Everybody knows
I've heard of Death Grips.
Yeah. They're, I've really enjoyed them in the past. This one was the most rocky-ish one, with some incredible singles, double album. It was really good. It was, there are a few parts that, again, could have been more full of life, but I thought that Ginny Death had a really great, like, I don't know, the ending of the album really did a good job at kind of recapping their career and giving way for their new one with some excellent tunes like On GP and Centuries of Damn and Inanimate Sensation. Plus, Up My Sleeve.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Fantastic.
They did a great job of just making it, like, really... like, insane and whack and, like, uncomfortable, but, like, they still made it good, because, like, I feel like some of the projects before that, like, they would really, like, go out there, but, like, not even on the same level of this album, but, like, this album has that same, like, melodic, catchy, or, like, really well put together, you know, like, melody, harmony, and rhythm together, but it would still be, like, really uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah, all the way.
It's very challenging, but at the same time, it's, like, it is, like, good Death Grips, because it's, like, I guess really empowering. It's like that's what they try to do. It's just it's like complete, like, you know Death Grips. I don't have to explain it. Y'all know.
Oh, for sure. It's Death Grips has had one of the best discographies in such a short amount of time that it's hard to say that this is one of my favorite albums by them, but I really enjoy it, and I really enjoy it every time I think about it, every time I hear it, every time I go back to it. I'm like, damn, this is a great album. Okay. It's an excellent album, so I really enjoyed it. I'm really happy that they came out with something awesome instead of just not doing Death Grips anymore. Number 12, The Phosphorescent Blues, The Punch Brothers. A little bit of a, I don't know, kind of a bluesgrassy album.
Okay.
Country-esque, folk-esque, I guess. Big surprise, didn't expect it to be this good, but it was very... I don't know, very interesting to listen to. It had like 2 or 3 excellent singles that got me excited for the album itself. And then listening to it, I had it on for a week. And it kind of becomes background noise-ish a little bit, which is why I've only gone back to it a few times this year. However, like the album as a whole, my appreciation for it, the skill, instrumentation is excellent. Really enjoyed this album. And I'm really, really happy that they came out with something that hooked me on it. Because I'll have to go listen to them more from now on. Number 12, probably surprised that it's not any higher. This album is one of the 4 albums that everybody loved this year. And everybody loved these albums and said they were the best albums of the year. And I was like, oh, I bet that they're just stupid. They don't know good music. They don't know Death Grips. They don't know Drake.
Okay.
Sufjan Stevens. Carrie and Lowell.
I feel that. Because it's like, that's a lot of people have said, like, this is not like Sufjan Stevens at his best, but it's still like what people want from him.
Yeah.
So people would give him like a high rating, and like, yeah, you're not the only one that thinks that. So.
Oh yeah,
But if those people that like really like the album and think it's like way up there, it's like, hold up there a second.
Yeah.
It's like they like, especially like Pitchfork or like a lot of people, like they just like jump the gun. I'm just like, this is amazing.
Yeah,
but, like,
I don't know. I feel like it took me some time because I wasn't expecting something groundbreaking as far as folk music was concerned, because everybody loves this album. Mm-hmm. However, it really isn't groundbreaking. It's just everything we've already seen done almost perfectly.
So
and
exactly,
it's incredibly
almost like Drake. Think about it.
You gotta.
I would say
you really hit us one, man.
No, I don't. I
gotta think. Drake. I gotta think about that. Yeah,
because Drake does everything you expect, and what everyone kind of already does, just way better.
The thing is, he every time I can see that. He does what you expect, but he does it in a pretty creative way.
Yeah, Drake. I give him that. Mm-hmm. But like, he just does almost everything everybody else does. Just extremely better.
Yeah, every time a new Drake project gets dropped, I'm just like, I don't have to listen to it now
because
like
you already know. You know it's good.
I know what's gonna happen.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that is an interesting parallel, and I would agree that it is kind of a similar way to Sufjan, because you can listen to it and say, L.H. Smith already did this. Mm-hmm. Avett Brothers did some of this. Yeah. Bright Eyes did this. But it's like, even though he was a pioneer back then, he's still really great at it. And what I was hoping for was more of an electronic influence in this album. Like, there was some in Should Have Known Better, which is why that song got so high up on my list. I was hoping that he would bring more of that into this, but it's not about that. It's just a very sad album with excellent instrumentation and mind-blowing lyrics. It's an album that when I first started listening to it, I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. And now I'm like, it's so great. It's such a great album.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't think that. I wish that there was an album that I could hate that everyone else loved, but this album is fantastic. Mm-hmm. So that's my number 11. Number 10, man. So one of you guys do it, because I've talked a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I have to go. My number 10 for the year was Sremmlife by Rae Sremmurd.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Not only did they set the year off right by bringing out a classic banging album that lyrically Rae Sremmurd, you don't expect too much lyrics from like Rae Sremmurd, but they came out strong. They started the year off very strongly, so they made my number 10 spot.
Wow.
I mean, they're still rocking too. Like, you still hear their singles played like all the time.
All the time. Like, if no one was to play No Flex Zone right now, I would still be turned. Like, it's just really good turnt music. So that's my number 10. I guess we can do 10, 9, 8, and then go around and kind of talk about it.
We can just kind of
do one.
Let's
do one.
Let's do one. Yeah.
Well, let's see. This is one that I didn't really expect, but it's good for this guy to finally get his album and like make a good one. It's Jeremih's Late Nights, and really, it's pretty single heavy, but like it was surprisingly consistent and put together pretty well. And I mean, there's not really much else to say about that. I mean, it wasn't the best, but like I just think that like melodically, in terms of like R&B, like who really did it the best this year, Jeremih's way up there.
Okay.
Sweet.
Respect.
It's awesome. Yeah, never heard of it.
Yeah,
doesn't mean anything. That's awesome.
It's too mainstream for you.
Yeah, that's probably it, man. It's too mainstream. Very quickly, I forgot to briefly mention the albums that I haven't heard this year. Again, just so people like that were on my list to listen to. I didn't hear. Just so people were like, you didn't hear the right album. You don't know. You didn't listen to Depression Cherry. Where's Beach House? Where's Wild Heart? Where's Bjork?
Oh, Wild Heart by McGraw. There's a lot of albums I didn't listen to this year either, but I probably will be listening to in 2016.
Oh, for
where there's that lag period of between like a lot of albums and then like nothing.
Yeah.
And then I probably would be like, damn, my bad for cursing. What it should have been on my list.
Oh, totally. Sure. That's fine, man, because that happens,
Always happens.
I didn't listen to Fetty Wap's album. Didn't listen to Compton. I already said this. Unfortunately, didn't listen to Dirty Sprite 2. Didn't listen to Beauty Behind the Madness. Didn't listen to Love Story by Yellow Wolf.
Just because you said that.
I know. Didn't listen to Flosstradamus' new album. Didn't listen to Depression Cherry or Big Grams. Didn't listen to Mutant 25, Elenia by Floating Points, or Gloom of Montreal, Attitude City by Ninja Sex Party, Live the Dream. I don't even remember what band that was. Georgia's album Wild Heart by Miguel, Ego Death by The Internet, The Epic, Kamasi Washington didn't have the time for that. Bjork, Vega International Nightclub's new album, At.Long.Last.A AP, or Grimes' album, Art Angels. Didn't listen to any of those.
Should have listened to Allah. That was I arguably ASAP jumped skill wise way
Really?
like I think skill wise like especially like conceptually way faster than I expected him. So it comes off very it came off very like non ASAP Rocky or what I expected from him. But spoiler alert, it made my top 10.
Oh, okay, sweet. Well, I'm excited to talk about it. And maybe I'll listen to him next year, but didn't have the time, unfortunately. Missed him when they came out.
I listened to Dirty Sprite 2 first, though.
I do need to listen. That was actually I was hoping to listen to that one before this right here, but I wasn't able to. So, but hey, on a better note, number 10, Summertime 06, Vince Staples.
Okay.
I already talked about this album. Excellent album.
Great album.
Loved it. Great flow. Great, fantastic production. Some of the best production all year in rap music.
The lags weren't even really like lags in that album.
Yeah, there were a few moments where it got a little bit slow. That's part of the concept, but
yeah,
it's the only reason it's not higher than 10 for me. But easily one of my favorite rap albums this year. One of the best albums of the year.
Definitely put me on Vince Staples like really hard when I listened to it. Made me listen to all of his mixtapes, and now I love Vince Staples because no one else is bringing like that. Really, no one else is. There's not a lot of West Coast artists. Well, there are a lot of West Coast artists, but no one is like has that strange cadence and delivery like he does. Except maybe Black Milk a little bit, but on a West Coast production.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting to listen to, and even on his flow when he says stuff, he's very unexpected. He does a lot of unexpected things.
He just speaks in an awesome manner.
Yeah.
But yeah. Fantastic. Love that album. We reviewed it, but yeah, so you guys know what I think about it.
My number 9 album was Compton, which I actually listened to some of the songs on the way up here from Houston to Fayetteville before I came to Hendrix, and then I finished the rest of it a little later. I think maybe a couple days ago or something like that. Definitely, it was very feature heavy, but that can be kind of expected from like Dr. Dre, who's known for his production and his business more than like his rapping skills. But like I can definitely say, the album was really high quality. Definitely the high quality you expect from Dr. Dre. Only reason it's not probably higher is because I don't know. It was just good music instead of just like being something groundbreaking to me.
I mean, I thought it was great, but like I was like, okay, we've seen this before, and it was still good though.
But it was also nice to hear something.
It was like impressively like cohesive.
Yeah.
And, like well put together.
And then like the feature, and then like even in the middle of the songs where he would like switch up the beat, you're just like, dang, this production is crazy. The production was crazy, like 100%. The production and like how fine-tuned it sounded was crazy, like on a different level that you don't really hear on a lot of albums. Like it was just really good, put together better. But like if it's Dr. Dre, I didn't expect anything like groundbreaking from him.
Yeah,
but still a very good album.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's another one I was so close to being able to listen to. It was basically Dirty Sprite 2, Compton, or Drake. And I chose Drake. So
understandably.
Yeah, but I'd love to listen to it because I've been waiting for that album for half a decade now.
Well, yeah.
All right, number 9. Summertime 06 as well.
Awesome.
I mean, pretty much exactly what you guys said. But, like, you know, I feel like Vince Staples offers that consciousness. And, you know, he just knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And it's a very well put together album. But, like, you know, like I said last time, like, the whole storytelling ability is really impressive.
Oh,
and,
for sure.
You know, there are not very many, you know, young artists like him who can really hit you like that conceptually. Because that's, like, a lot of what the game's lacking is, you know, that kind of maturity. But, like, yeah, I know.
It's okay, man.
We got the camera angle kind of bad. But, I mean, you know, he offers that level of maturity, but, like, with that talent and just put it together, you know, as best as possible. And that's impressive.
Oh, so for sure.
That's pretty much all I have to say about that album.
Yeah, of course. Excellent album. Number 9, maybe a little bit unexpected, but we talked about it last week. Album blew me away. King Push, Darkest Before the Dawn, The Prelude, Pusha T. Man, this album was
I was good. I actually got a chance to listen to it, and it made my list.
Oh, I'm excited to talk about it then, man.
It was
just the first track, from the way it starts, it grabs you, and it's like, and then Pusha T freaking brings it, man.
I always knew Pusha T could bring the bars. I just never thought he could put it together so well.
Yeah.
As like conceptually on a project, and he did very well with this album.
Yeah.
Like, very well. And it made my list. It was good enough to make my list.
Oh yeah, super good. Great singles, great influence from Kanye in a few songs.
Yeah.
But it's not a Kanye album. It's a Pusha T album.
You can definitely tell like Kanye had his like little Kanye moments.
Yeah, yeah.
With like I think Kanye was probably in the booth a couple times. Like, yo, you need to do this like this. Because you can definitely hear that. But like, just a good album. I recommend you listen to it. You should be really excited to see where good music is going with Pusha T like as the head.
Oh, for sure.
And his next project.
King Push comes out this year, man.
It should be good.
Yeah, excellent prelude to his narrative. So
only thing though, I wish it was longer than 10 songs. Because I hit song number 10 and I was just like, okay, I need some more.
Well, this is like the first act in a 3-act story, and the next 2 are going to be in his album. So from that alone, at the end of this album, I was like, it was like a cliffhanger.
Yeah, like I'm ready to see where it goes. You want more.
Yeah. All right. Your turn, man.
This is 8, correct?
Yes.
My number 8 happens to be Dark Sky Paradise by Big Sean. I think the only reason for that, for me, like, it wouldn't be higher, because Big Sean, even on the slower songs on this album, were really good. And even on, like, the turnt songs, it was really good. It's just, like, it was a dichotomy to me, which I think might have been conceptually, because it was, like, really turnt the first half and, like, really kind of, like, slowed down the second half. And I kind of like more of, like, a flow than, like, a split, which is just personal preference. But it was still really good. Big Sean definitely brought the bars. And then he, even as a rapper, this project put him on like a better tier for me as a rapper. And then he dropped some freestyles before and after this, and I was just like, yo, I'm looking forward to his next project a lot, because he definitely been stepping up his game.
For sure. Cool. All right, number 8 for me. This is 2 mixtapes by the same guy, so I decided to put them together.
Okay.
It's 56 Nights and Beast Mode by Future.
Okay.
And for anybody that's looking for like the best mixtapes of this year, this just David knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Like just makes like everybody.
Might as well go ahead and throw in Monster in there too.
Well, I mean, Monster was last year. So, but like that whole trio of mixtapes, like that. Oh. Those are some of the best mixtapes.
You can literally put all 3 of those on shuffle, and like have the most turnt moment of your life.
Oh,
like
man.
even with the intros, they're crazy.
Even the skits, man.
You just honestly, I can't listen to either one of those without listening to all 3 of them at the same time.
You just get on rotation with all of them. It's like if you get tired of Beast Mode, you can go back to Monster, and then like. It's 6 Nights, back to Beast Mode, maybe some dirty Sprite too, like just anything.
Yeah.
Okay. He has like a legit discography right now, and like I feel like that really developed it. But
didn't he put out like 6 projects within a year?
I think it was like 5.
I'm adding Monster because I think that. I'm adding Monster and adding the project he did with Drake.
And that was around the same time. So
that was like 6 projects within a year. Crazy output.
But yeah, I mean,
Future has to be on the go.
Yeah.
He has to be like one of the greatest, just because of how much work he put out. And then he put out Purple Rain not that long ago, which I haven't like really listened to too much. But like for him to put it out so quickly after Dirty Sprite 2 is crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's just crazy. That's 7 tapes like within 14 months.
Man, that's awesome. I'll have to listen to them. Listen to those 2 mixtapes since I know how much you love them. So that's awesome, man. Number 8.
Number 7. Right?
I'm on number 8.
I started.
You guys are number 7.
Okay.
Yeah, he started. Okay. So number 8, Sound and Color, the Alabama Shakes. Love this album.
I need to listen to that.
Super good. Future People, song you're listening to.
That turned me on, Alabama Shakes. I have to listen to that.
Yeah, sure. I would say it's a little bit groundbreaking. This album was so good. It was so great. It kind of fused the southern rock with kind of like the R&B, feel, but it did it so like powerfully. And it's a breakup album, but it's like very existential, very thought-provoking. Okay. However, the first 7 songs are like if this whole album were the same level as the first 7 songs, this album may be in my top like 3 or 4 because it's like it's so great. But the last 5 were also excellent. They were like a step down. They were like just really good music compared to
great music.
Yeah, groundbreaking music. So the way that Zach explains it is that the first 7 songs are like Kid A, and then the next 5 songs are like the B-side album that they released a few years later. Yeah. It's like if you were to compare that to this album, that's kind of what it would be like. And I totally agree. Even though this album was super good, I couldn't stop listening to it for like the first month I had it. It was so fantastic, and I'm so excited to see what they do next because I didn't care for them before this album, and man,
yeah, I didn't care for them before I heard that song.
Oh yeah,
People,
dude.
And I was just like, I have to listen to this now.
Oh, for sure. And there's so many great singles, dude. Sound and Color, Future People, Don't Want to Fight, Give Me All Your Love. Just all of them are just so great, and each one could be like your favorite song of the year. It's just so powerful. But yeah, highly recommend it. Love that album.
Well, my number 7 song was King Push Darkness Before Dawn by
awesome.
Pusha T. So I said he made my list, and he made the 7th spot for me.
Oh, my turn. Let's go. Number 7, Sremmlife. It's. I mean, I didn't expect much from it because like a lot of the singles,
they just sounded like singles that were gonna be put together.
And because it was like they got so popular off of that, and it was just the singles that really made them. I didn't expect much from an album, and especially from this genre of music that is so, I guess, loose and so single heavy. Yeah. But pretty much almost every song on this album, almost every song was just like really, like cohesive and like would like get you like jacked.
You could listen to
That's awesome.
You honestly, the whole album could be like your pregame album before you like go to a party. It's so like.
That's the best way. That's the best way to describe it. Yeah,
it's another one that I didn't hear, but I've heard great things about. Again, it's like weird because like I didn't care for it, and then I started hearing good reviews. All my friends like it, and I was like, oh.
Have you heard My Crazy Life by YG?
No.
Okay, so you know how My Crazy Life by YG was kind of like the whole project was good, and like how everything was just like, dang, this is like West Coast banging, kind of like a hood banger. That's how Rae Sremmurd was to me for 2015. It was just like every song was banging, but it wasn't like the hood version of it. It was just really good. Just really good.
That's awesome. Yeah, my number 7 is also a big hood banger. Number 7, I Love You, Honey Bear, Father John Misty. This album, it's like needless to say how good it is because everyone here has heard it because Father John Misty is the Hendrix cult band.
He's a little too ambient.
Everyone loves him. Yeah, a little bit too ambient, a little bit not approachable.
But like live, crazy.
Yeah, we saw him live. We love him. His song made my number 3 song of the year. His songwriting is so well done. I didn't know that this album would be nearly as heartbreaking and emotional as it was going into it, but one of the best concept albums I've heard in a long time. Really emotional the whole way through. It's one of the most realistic albums about being married I've ever heard, and instrumentation is excellent.
You can relate to that.
Yeah, I know. I haven't been married in a while, but no. But for real though, I was unexpectedly. I loved this album. Definitely went away from the Fleet Foxes influence that he had on Fleet Foxes because he helped make them. But very rocky album, and every part of it was just excellent.
Okay, my number 6. Jackson's gonna think I should have put this higher. Was Dirty Sprite 2?
Oh my!
But that's Dirty Sprite 2 was great. The only thing for me was I was still riding the hype of the other 3 mixtapes, and it kind of has a different feel, a little different feel. And I like the mixtapes better than I like Dirty Sprite 2. Oh. So I would have, if were rating the mixtapes with my albums, I'd have to put the mixtapes higher than Dirty Sprite 2. And there's just a couple other albums that I liked a little better.
Here's the thing, like the mixtape dropped, all 3 of them dropped, and like people liked them, and so I was, I checked them out, and like I was just kind of like, it's all right, and then I heard Dirty Sprite 2. And then, like, I was in love with Future. Like, that's what, like, got me into Future. Because, like, I had that album on repeat over and over. And then then I went back to the mixtapes, and I was like, these are good.
It was reversed for me. I listened to the mixtapes first.
Yeah. So, like, if you want to get into Future, just
Dirty Sprite 2 is probably something to get into. But if you already like love the hood, turnt ratchetness, then you're probably like the mixtape's better than Dirty Sprite 2.
And it's like a whole album of it, and it's quality. Yeah. So, yeah. Awesome. I mean, it's on my list too, so that's not all I have to say about it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go off on this thing, man.
I'll listen to it one day and we'll talk about it on the show, man. And it'll be a good.
It'll be very interesting.
But until then, number 6.
Number 6, I gotta say Slime Season by Young Thug. It's one of his mixtapes.
Oh.
He had 2 of these. The first one was a lot better.
Crazy. Yeah. Slime Season 2 was a little bit had some moments, but Slime Season 1. Like if I was putting the mixtapes with my albums, because I just did straight albums instead of mixtapes. Slime Season, spoiler alert, is making my top mixtapes of 2015 when I talk about mixtapes, because Slime Season was crazy.
He just did a great job of like coming off with a bang and then like continuing, but like being experimental and like doing a variety, but like being melodic and like having the bangers and everything. Like it's nothing else really sounds like this, and it's not only that makes it good, but it's so much else with this flow and the features. Go ahead.
Slime Season 1, I think, is a little more commercial than Slime Season 2. I think Slime Season 2 is a little more for like the streets than Slime Season 1.
I thought it was more like indie sounding, you know?
It was definitely. It was, but I'm looking forward to Slime Season 3.
Yeah, for sure.
And Migos Thuggin'.
Oh yeah.
That should have dropped on Christmas.
Oh yeah.
But these next 3 albums, the reason that they're higher than all the other ones is because, unlike the other ones, I when it comes to music personally, I like artists to take the music and to use it to tell their story musically first and using lyrics second. Okay. So when it comes to albums that were like mind-blowing musically and they told their whole entire story just through music, barely using lyrics to add on to it, that it gets a little bit more respect out of me, which is why these next 3 albums, my 6, 5, and 4, are, that's why it took me a while to think about it, but that's why these got higher than Father John Misty, Alabama Shakes, because those guys needed their lyrics to tell their story. These 3 albums didn't. So my number 6, still on the hype train. It's one of the 4 albums everybody loves. In Color, Jamie XX. It's a coming of age story about a young man who's trying to prove himself, going solo from his big name that he's aspired. You know, love this album. Every time I listen to it, all the way through, it's got me dancing the whole time. And it's just so good, man. The story is super great. So turned, man. Love this album. It was a big shock. Love it so much. I listen to it every day of my life if I could. It was fantastic.
Okay. My number 5 album was At.Long.Last.A AP, mostly because I didn't expect A$AP Rocky to come out with something so conceptually like he did, especially if you listen to his older stuff. Like it didn't. At.Long.Last.A AP sounded like a mature A$AP Rocky, and I enjoyed it. And then I don't know, it was just something about it. The vibes, I really like the vibes of that album. I think Jackson, you disagree a little bit on that placement.
I didn't hear a lot of it, but like, I mean, people would think that like A$AP is like getting predictable at this point in his career, but he's really not. Like,
he's not.
It's really different from what he's been doing. But the thing is, like, I loved his first mixtape so much that, like,
you can't. I understand that
because he's deviated from that sound. Like,
I can understand
it's just not the same. Like, without like a really good Clamps Casino beat or
I understand
or that like Houston style, like, it just isn't the same.
I feel that. Have you heard his new single that he put out with Earl though?
No, I haven't. But like, I've probably heard about it. I do need to check it out though. But like, yeah.
I think my favorite part was he kind of like stepped up his bars a lot. Mm-hmm. Like his bars are a lot better.
I can see that. I mean, I want to check it out now that you say it's so much more mature because that's what A$AP Rocky falls flat on.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, he was one of those people that like depended on aesthetic so much. So like when the aesthetic was gone, and there wasn't really that level of maturity, it was kind of like, well, what's the point of that? But now like he has that back, and he's had some variety. Like I'd definitely check it out.
Yeah. Okay, that's respectable.
Another Young Thug album. Well, it's actually his album, The Barter 6.
Right. Number 5.
You didn't listen to it?
I couldn't just because Carter 5 hasn't dropped, and you know, I was an
original
Lil Wayne.
Too
much respect for Lil Wayne to listen to it yet. Yeah. I gotta wait till Carter 5, or like I have to just give in eventually. But like too much respect for Lil Wayne. That's one of the rappers I grew up on. So
Yeah. I got you. Well, I mean, other than like the personality that he's known as, and how he's known for doing things differently. I mean, that's just more applied to this album than any of his other works, I think.
Okay.
And it's really when it was more cohesive and like it's actually a little bit conceptual. Like it really gets to places at the end, but it's surprisingly emotional and like conscious for like somebody who's like from the streets. And that's it.
Number 5. This album also, same thing. Music super good. The only thing is that I don't really know what he's trying to tell me, and I've listened to this album many times, and maybe that's why I like it so much. But Garden of Delete, 106 Point Never, Sticky Drama is my favorite song. I just listened to it. Super good album. I have no clue what this guy's trying to tell me. All I know is that it's one of the most powerful emotional trips I've had this whole year listening to music, because you can tell that he was happy, something bad happened, he's trying to get over it. And whether it's a breakup, whether it's his career, whether it's whatever. Fantastic album. Synth work is excellent, and it's super hard hitting. And every part of it makes me wonder, why did he interrupt this song halfway through and start a new song in the middle of this song? Excellent album. Okay. Super good.
So, in trying to conserve time, I'm gonna do my 4, 3, 2 and try to talk a little bit about each one.
Okay.
But like, I'm pretty sure we all want to talk about our number 1 album.
Yeah. That's pretty fair, man.
Okay.
We'll probably overlap on some of these. I can imagine. Maybe not you as much, but. Go ahead.
For number 4 was 90059 by J-Rock.
Okay.
J-Rock.
Oh yeah! Wow, really?
I love J-Rock.
Number 4, man.
I love J-Rock.
Jeez.
Just like, of course, like it could have been better, but I just love the fact that personally he tried to push himself forward and do stuff differently than he did in his other projects.
Gotcha.
Number 3 was Summertime 06, just because look. I was in this year. I've been really in I was in a really hood mood, and I love West Coast rap.
Excellent.
That's what I grew up on. So that was my number 3. And number 2 was What a Time to Be Alive, just because I feel like Future almost watched Drake on every song, and almost watched Drake on every song. I just loved hearing that. So that was why I reached my number 2 spot.
That is that's pretty much that album. There needs to be more Future on it, like. Just so like
Drake was a nice release, but he got watched on every song. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I know that. Jeez. It's like objectively true though. Like he killed him. And
he doesn't even remember recording it. That's like the best part. He honestly said, "I don't remember recording this album." So Drake,
that's Future right there.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Man, that's awesome.
All right, my turn.
4, 3, 2, I guess. 2. Yeah. Go fast. I guess.
Number 4. If you're reading this, it's too late. I mean,
not surprised.
For people who have been Drake fans and continue to be Drake fans, even though they don't expect to be. I mean, you get the idea. It's just another way of him kind of regurgitating his story, in new aesthetic ways, new ways musically. Like some of the synth styles on this are really different. But he just does a great job of like capturing a moment. I think just the spring and like late February, like he captured that time. And those who like that,
I listen to it almost every day. That's probably the big reason why I forgot about it and it didn't reach my list, is because I just listened to it way too much.
And let's see, and then To Pimp a Butterfly,
number 3. Okay. Fair. Super fair.
I mean, I kind of expected it to be lower, but like we just said, capturing a time. And
objectively,
and there's so much that goes into this album politically and mentally, to the point where it's kind of like
you can't not have it on your list.
Yeah, well, no, but it's like to the point where it's like it's really challenging to the mind in a way, or like just challenging like on your stress levels, because like there are points in this album where it'll like stress you out, but it'll like it'll really challenge you, and really like keeps your attention throughout the whole thing.
Oh, for sure.
That's why. And then number 2, I don't like.
Oh, I don't man, really? Oh, it's awesome, dude. I'm so happy.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, it's like a 30-minute album.
Yeah,
like,
it's
you
only
can just
30
easily
minutes.
have it on repeat, but it's just like, it's one of those albums you can just like, it's best for just like sitting down doing nothing, really. Because like it'll put you in that comfort zone, but it really, because of its title and like what he went through in the recording process, like it just kind of explains it. And like that's its mood, of just like, it's not really like loneliness, but like more of like intentional isolation to like get past something.
Yeah. Here, you done talking?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk about that in a second. My number 4, No Now, Clarence Clarity. Again, super powerful, one of the best pop, weird. We talked about him before.
Yeah.
He's like people could say he's like a swarm of bees playing pop music. It comes across that way. This album is so fantastically, densely layered. I love it all the way. Great album. I'm happy. It was really good. It has a lot of lyrics in it, so this is where these albums transition into bringing the lyrics back.
Okay.
Using both to make actually perfect albums. These top 3, I would say, are the perfect albums this year for me. Number 3, my number 2 went back and forth so many times. All 3 of these did. So hard to keep them straight. Number 3, I Don't Like Shit. I Don't Go Outside, an album by Earl Sweatshirt. He went through so much. You're right, man. It's like through Odd Future's breakup, through everything. He went through so much, and he is the only one who took all that and said, I'm done with this. I'm doing my own thing. I'm going to do it all me. I'm going to produce everything. I'm going to do it with just the people I want to do it with, like Vince Staples and Nikel Smith.
Okay, I need to listen to that.
This album...
Especially since he's comedy.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's... okay, I wouldn't say it's perfect just because it could have had one thing. If Solace, my favorite EP of the year, was at the end of this thing, it would have been the best album of the year, hands down.
Quite possibly.
It would have 100% came full circle and gotten those emotions of being sad and tied it all into just everything, because he didn't talk too much about his grandma on this album. However, musically, he does it musically. He does it without lyrics. He does it with lyrics. It's like a stream of consciousness about depression and isolation.
Exactly.
Okay.
But it's a way of like conquering it though, because it's like it's him like growing up. It's not like as you would think.
That's arguable too, if he's even getting through it. Or not,
it doesn't feel like an album like, because like when you think of depression, you think of all these like negative thoughts and feelings and like just continuously like putting yourself in a down spot.
Right.
But that's not how it is. It's very like I'm getting through this.
He's facing it head on, opposed to running from it. And
exactly.
This album started out at like number 20, and every time I hear it, production just gets better. Lyrics just get better.
Okay.
Flow just gets better. The features are excellent. This album is one of the best albums of the year. However, it's not as good as To Pimp a Butterfly.
Is that your number 2?
It's my number 2.
Okay.
This album, it was my number 1 for a while, but not anymore. It is really good though. It's a really good album. It's a perfect album. There's nothing, I can't say there's something wrong with this album. Really enjoyed it. The only thing is that I think it is the social awareness that makes me like it more than I Don't Like Shit, but at the same time, it's so hard to pick from those two.
What's so cool about that album is like, depending on like your view of like social, economic, politics, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Determining on how like bitter you are at the moment, it's gonna determine how much you like it.
And that's true.
Because like I'm like salty about hearing this stuff all the time, and then like so like when I'm hearing it, I'm like reminded of that, but I'm like reminded of this time, and like I feel like that's a beautiful thing in itself.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It makes you like question yourself. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, totally. And even without the introspective aspects and the social topics as a whole, lyrics are perfect. The production is excellent. So many different genres of music blended into this thing.
I agree.
I loved Good Kid, Mad City. This thing, it was such a great surprise to hear this album from Kendrick.
This is my number 1 album.
Go ahead, man.
Mostly,
Go ahead.
I think because To Pimp a Butterfly is my number 1 album of the year.
Right.
What both of you guys have said, but mostly because I feel like this is an album I'm gonna be able to listen to 30 years from now.
Oh,
and just
100%.
be like, this is a great album. It has so much longevity. To me, it's almost like an art piece, like an actual living art piece. Like, just depending on different aspects and like what you're going through in your life, you're gonna look at it differently every time. It's just like, I just think it's great. Like it does stuff that a lot of albums I've heard haven't. Like a lot of albums I've heard are albums that are good. They're good for like 3-4 months. Albums I'm gonna want to listen to in the next couple years, and I'm gonna think, I remember listening to this album. How this is my favorite album. But I'm gonna always be comparing that to the albums that are good right then and there at that time period. To Pimp a Butterfly to me is something I'm gonna be listening to like 30 years and like, dang, there's nothing like this. It's like a living, moving art piece to me.
Completely agree. Excellent album. Perfect album. It's fantastic.
We have a minute left.
We can do
keep going. Okay,
we'll just keep going.
Yeah, then I don't think they're outside. So
we'll just go a little bit over.
Just keep going.
I think you already know what it is.
Yeah.
Dirty Sprite 2.
I can't believe it's your number 1, man. I mean, I haven't heard it.
The thing is, you have to understand how
future works.
Yeah, well, it's the future of music. Like the way he recorded this thing is so unorthodox. Like, he would, go through a regular process of a song, maybe do a bridge, and like, okay, maybe he has a bridge or two bridges, adds it as an intro, maybe a part where he's like singing at the end, add it into an intro, and then like take a part from the verse, make it part of the hook. Like, everything you'd expect, he'd completely flip-flop it.
Okay.
So he'd be like, okay, here's Future doing this, and you expect this melody, but he just comes out of nowhere.
And then it's still Future.
Yeah.
It's still ratchet and turn, and it's just like, he says the most off-the-wall stuff, and you're just like, I can't believe you just said this. I can't believe I'm enjoying you said this. It's just like, yes.
There's so many quotables because of, like, how dumb they are. Like, like, I bought all the sodas at the gas station. Like, every time I go to the gas station buy a soda, I think of that,
It's just so deep, man.
It gets into your life.
I know, man. And it's just, like, really simple, dumb ways, Like, I just took a pee and I saw coding coming out. Like, everybody thinks of that. The whole,
or
like, the whole Gucci flip-flop. Like, everybody thinks of that.
In some Gucci flip-flops. Gucci flip-flop stock went up after he dropped this album.
Oh, wow.
This album.
I want to buy some just because he said that. Like,
jeez. Yeah, I would love to hear it because I know how much you love it, man.
But I understand people not liking it. But I mean, like, if you like ratchet turn stuff, listen to Dirty Sprite 2. It'll change your life.
It is forward-thinking. It is three-dimensional.
That's awesome, dude.
That's all I have to say.
I'm happy to hear. I didn't have an interest in listening to it before I heard you talk about it. And I was like, I know he loves it. Didn't expect it to be your favorite album of the year, man.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. Okay. All right. Number one album of all time this year, 2015, is one of the 4 albums that everyone overhyped. Sufjan, Jamie XX, Pimp a Butterfly. Currents, Tame Impala. Love this album all the way through. Every time I hear it, it's got the beats to keep you hooked. It's such a surprise from Tame Impala because you would have expected it to be a little bit of a psychedelic rock album. Instead, it's kind of this weird funk disco dance album, and it's so weird because I would never expect that, but it's one of the greatest, like, I don't know, streams of consciousness storytelling albums I've heard in a long time. Each song feels like it has its own story, its own narrative and climax. Every part of it, there are parts of the album where you feel like, oh, this is it, it's over, but it's not over. It keeps happening. It keeps going back and forth. You could rearrange this album to make it linear, but it's so unlinear because he keeps going back and forth. He keeps having different thoughts. It's my fault. It's not my fault, etc. In the music, every time I hear it, I wonder if it really is my favorite album, but I always turn it on, and without a doubt, it's my favorite. But there were times where I thought maybe Kendrick, maybe Earl were my favorite, but Tame Impala.
Once you get to those top, like, 3 spots, everything's pretty much interchangeable, just depending on how you feel.
For sure.
Like, especially if, like, you think the album's a 10, because 10s, you don't really see many 10s.
Yeah, totally. And that's why this album, for me, like, the first time I heard it, I loved it. And whenever I sat down to think about my list, I was like, do I really like it more than Kendrick Lamar's album? And I'm like, I think I do. I think I actually like it more than that. And then from there, every time I heard it, I was like, it just keeps getting better and better. Yeah. I listened to it this week just to make sure that I liked it this much to make it my number 1. And without a doubt, I do. It's one of my favorite albums. So,
it's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
That's legit.
That is legit. Good time, guys. Good time. Happy we were all here. We'll talk about movies and mixtapes next week.
Movies. Hey, that actually sounds like a great title. We should make a flyer for that.
Yeah.
Movies and mixtapes.
Movies and mixtapes. And we'll talk. We're going to talk to Black Milk this weekend.
Yeah. So that's gonna be crazy. I'm super excited.
Oh, for sure. Me too, man. So we'll talk about that next time, I guess. Thank you for listening.
Peace out.
Thank you for being here.
Appreciate it, Jackson. Appreciate
Love
you
being here. It's a privilege.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Adios.
That's legit.
That's legit.
Good time.
You gotta turn up the back.
Yeah. There we go. Oh man, that was a